There is a distinct quiet magic to walking out into your backyard early in the morning, coffee mug in hand, expecting to see your prize roses bathed in the soft morning light. You look forward to that burst of vibrant crimson, delicate pink, or striking yellow. But instead of a breathtaking display, you notice something is terribly wrong. The leaves are curling inward, looking tired and withered. Some have tiny jagged holes chewed right through the center, while others are covered in a strange, sticky residue that shines under the sun. Your heart sinks. Your roses, the pride and joy of your garden, are under siege. Most gardeners don't know this, but your roses are constantly fighting a silent, invisible war. Before you run to the local garden center to buy a bottle of harsh chemical pesticide, you need to understand exactly what you are up against. Spraying blindly without knowing the enemy is like trying to cure an illness without a diagnosis. The real secret to a thriving, pest-free rose garden begins with close observation. You have to look past the beautiful blooms and peer closely at the stems, the buds, and especially the undersides of the leaves. If you look closely at the tender new growth of your rose bushes, you might spot clusters of tiny, soft-bodied insects. These are aphids, mealybugs, and spider mites. They may look small and harmless individually, but they are the ultimate opportunists. These sap-sucking pests insert their needle-like mouthparts directly into the plant's vascular system, draining the vital fluids and nutrients that your roses need to grow. As they feed, they excrete a sweet, sticky liquid called honeydew. This honeydew isn't just unsightly. It acts as a magnet for ants and provides the perfect breeding ground for black sooty mold, a fungus that blocks sunlight and stops photosynthesis in its tracks. What happened next surprised me during my early years of gardening. I noticed that even when I kept the aphids at bay, my rose leaves were still disappearing overnight. That is when I discovered the leaf-eating caterpillars. These pests are incredibly stealthy. They blend in perfectly with the green stems and leaves, quietly chewing irregular holes through the foliage and destroying delicate flower buds before they even have a chance to open. If you leave them unchecked, they can completely defoliate a mature rose bush in a matter of days, leaving it weak, stressed, and unable to bloom. But the destruction doesn't stop there. There is an even more frustrating insect that many gardeners refer to as the kingpin of flower damage. These are destructive beetles, which love to burrow deep inside the tightly wound petals of opening rosebuds. They chew up the buds from the inside out, causing the flowers to open up completely deformed, scarred, and ruined. You might also notice leaves that are rolled up into tight, neat little tubes, held together by fine silk threads. This is the work of the leaf-rolling caterpillar. They spin this silk to create a safe, microscopic fortress, where they can hide from predators while happily munching on your young rose shoots. And then, of course, there are the nighttime prowlers. When the sun goes down and the garden grows quiet, snails and slugs emerge from the damp soil and mulch. They slowly crawl up the stems, leaving behind a telltale trail of silvery, slimy mucus. They target the tenderest young shoots and succulent flower buds, chewing large, ragged holes. Worse still, the slimy trails they leave behind can easily carry harmful fungal spores, introducing diseases like black spot and powdery mildew directly into the open wounds of your plants. It is a devastating cycle, but fortunately, there is a highly effective, completely natural way to stop it. When you see your roses struggling with pests, your first instinct might be to blame the insects themselves. However, experienced gardeners understand a deeper truth. Pests are often just a symptom of a larger, underlying issue. In the natural world, insects are highly sensitive to the chemical signals emitted by plants. Healthy plants produce natural defense compounds that repel invaders. But when a plant is stressed, weak, or suffering from a nutrient deficiency, its immune system falters, and it begins to emit stress signals that act like a beacon for every pest in the neighborhood. Most gardeners don't know this, but a lack of proper nutrition is often the root cause of severe pest infestations. For instance, if your roses are suffering from a nitrogen deficiency, you will notice the older, lower leaves turning a pale, sickly yellow, while the rest of the plant's growth slows down. On the flip side, too much nitrogen can cause a rapid flush of soft, watery, succulent green growth. This overly soft tissue is incredibly easy for aphids and caterpillars to pierce and chew, practically inviting them to a feast. Similarly, a deficiency in potassium can weaken the cell walls of your rose plants, making them flimsy and highly susceptible to both insect damage and fungal infections. You can spot a potassium deficiency by looking for brown, scorched edges on the leaves, a phenomenon known as leaf marginal necrosis. When you strengthen your plants from the inside out and protect them with a natural, organic shield, you break this cycle of vulnerability. This is where the real secret begins. For decades, the commercial gardening industry has pushed synthetic chemical pesticides as the only solution to garden pests. But these chemical sprays are a double-edged sword. When you spray a synthetic pesticide, you don't just kill the bad bugs. You also wipe out the beneficial predators like ladybugs, lacewings, hoverflies, and predatory mites that naturally keep pest populations in check. Without these natural protectors, the surviving pests quickly reproduce, leading to an even worse infestation a few weeks later. Furthermore, chemical pesticides can leave toxic residues in your soil, harming earthworms and disrupting the delicate soil microbiome that your roses rely on to absorb nutrients. Over time, pests can even develop resistance to these chemicals, forcing you to use stronger and more dangerous formulas. Transitioning to a natural homemade botanical spray allows you to target the pests directly without harming the environment, your soil, or your family. The formula we are going to prepare is a highly sophisticated dual-action botanical shield. It combines the power of natural insect repellents, organic fungicides, and physical suffocants to create an environment where pests simply cannot survive, while simultaneously supporting the plant's natural defenses. It is a recipe that has been refined through years of trial and error by veteran organic gardeners who wanted a safe, non-toxic alternative that actually delivers professional-grade results. To create this powerful plant protection formula, we will prepare two separate solutions and then combine them. This step-by-step process is crucial because it allows the active organic compounds in each ingredient to dissolve and activate properly without interfering with one another. This is the step many people skip, resulting in an unstable mixture that doesn't work nearly as well. Taking your time with this preparation ensures maximum potency. For the first part of our formula, which we will call Solution A, you will need to prepare about 1 liter of clean water in a clean container. You can use standard tap water, but if your local water is highly chlorinated, let it sit out in an open container for 24 hours to allow the chlorine to dissipate, or use rainwater. To this water, add 1 teaspoon of high-quality garlic powder. Garlic contains a powerful sulfur compound called allicin. Allicin is a natural systemic deterrent. When sprayed on the leaves, it is absorbed slightly by the plant, making the sap taste incredibly bitter to sucking pests like aphids and spider mites, while its strong aroma repels flying insects. Next, add 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon powder to the water. Cinnamon is a powerhouse in the organic garden. It contains cinnamaldehyde, a potent natural fungicide and bactericide. When applied to roses, cinnamon helps inhibit the germination of fungal spores, preventing devastating diseases like black spot, rust, and powdery mildew from taking hold. It also acts as a natural irritant to crawling insects. Once both powders are added, stir the mixture thoroughly. You will notice the water begin to change to a rich, warm amber color. This is a clear sign that the active, water-soluble compounds from the garlic and cinnamon are dissolving into the liquid. After stirring, let the mixture steep for about 10 to 15 minutes. Once it has steeped, take a clean piece of cheesecloth, a fine mesh strainer, or a paper coffee filter, and strain the liquid into another clean container. This step is absolutely vital. If you do not strain out the fine particles of garlic and cinnamon, they will clog the delicate nozzle of your spray bottle, ruining your equipment and making even application impossible. Now let's prepare Solution B. In a separate container, start with another liter of clean, room temperature water. To this, add 60 milliliters of standard white vinegar. The mild acetic acid in white vinegar plays a brilliant role in this formula. It helps break down the waxy, protective outer coating of soft-bodied insects like aphids, mealybugs, and spider mites, making them highly vulnerable to the other active ingredients. Next, add 1 tablespoon of standard cooking oil, such as vegetable oil, canola oil, or soybean oil. The oil serves as an adhesive agent, helping the spray stick to the slick, glossy surface of the rose leaves rather than just rolling off onto the ground. More importantly, the oil acts as a physical suffocant. When it comes into contact with insects, it coats their bodies and blocks their spiracles, the tiny breathing pores along their abdomens, effectively neutralizing them without the need for chemical toxins. Finally, add 2 tablespoons of liquid dish soap to solution B. The soap serves two critical functions. First, it acts as an emulsifier. As you know, oil and water do not mix naturally. The soap molecules bridge the gap between the oil and water, allowing them to blend into a smooth, uniform emulsion. Second, the soap acts as a surfactant, reducing the surface tension of the water so that the spray spreads out in a thin, even sheet across the entire leaf surface, rather than forming beads. Stir solution B gently so that the ingredients dissolve completely and the mixture becomes slightly cloudy and uniform. Here is where the real magic happens. Slowly pour the filtered garlic and cinnamon liquid from solution A into the soapy, oily mixture of solution B. Stir the combined liquids gently. You will see them blend together into a beautifully uniform, pale milky brown emulsion. This completed solution is now packed with insect-repelling allicin, antifungal cinnamaldehyde, protective acetic acid, suffocating oils, and spreading agents. Pour this master solution into a high-quality spray bottle. For the best results, use a bottle with an adjustable nozzle that can produce an ultrafine mist. A fine mist is crucial because it allows the liquid to penetrate the tiniest crevices of the plant, ensuring complete coverage without wasting the solution. When you go out to spray your roses, do not just spray the tops of the leaves. This is a common mistake that leads to poor results. The vast majority of pests, especially spider mites, aphids, and mealybugs, hide on the shady, protected undersides of the leaves and deep within the leaf axils where the stems meet. You must bend down and spray upward, ensuring that the undersides of every leaf are completely dripping wet with the solution. Be sure to spray the stems, the young green shoots, and even the soil around the base of the plant to deter snails and crawling insects. Timing is everything when it comes to applying natural remedies. The absolute best time to spray your roses is in the cool of the late afternoon, just as the sun is beginning to set, or in the very early morning before the sun hits the garden. Never spray your plants during the heat of the day under direct, intense sunlight. The water and oil droplets on the leaves can act like tiny magnifying glasses, focusing the sun's rays and causing severe leaf burn, also known as phytotoxicity. Additionally, spraying in the cool evening gives the botanical compounds more time to work on the pests before the liquid evaporates. What happened next surprised me when I first used this formula. The results became visible just days later. Within 24 hours of the first application, you will notice that active pests like aphids and caterpillars stop moving and feeding. By day 3, the soft-bodied insects will have dried up and fallen off the leaves, and the sticky honeydew residue will begin to wash away. By the end of the week, you will see a dramatic reduction in pest activity, and your roses will begin to push out beautiful, healthy, vibrant new green growth that is completely free of deformities. If your roses are currently suffering from a severe active infestation, apply this natural spray once every day or every other day until the pests are completely gone. For ongoing maintenance and prevention, spraying your rose bushes once every 2 weeks is more than enough to create a lasting, protective barrier that keeps pests from ever establishing a foothold in your garden again. This natural, time-tested recipe is a game changer for anyone who wants to grow breathtaking, healthy roses without introducing harmful chemicals into their backyard ecosystem. It is simple, affordable, and incredibly satisfying to make. If you found this guide helpful and want to discover more practical, organic gardening secrets to transform your backyard into a lush, thriving paradise, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. Let's grow together.